CBS News Miami.
Good afternoon and thank you for joining us. I'm Lauren Pastrana and welcome to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Let's take a look at today's top stories. Right off the top, deadly and destructive wildfires continue scorching Southern California. The fires are still spreading, burning thousands of acres and 10,000 structures. Officials now say at least 10 people have died. Nearly 300,000 people are under evacuation orders. CBS News Miami's Charlie DeMar is in Los Angeles with the latest from the ground.
The Palisades and Eaton fires, which are still burning, are now considered the top 20 most destructive fires in California state history. Firefighters in Los Angeles County attacked the raging wildfires by air Friday. More than 55 square miles have burned so far.
Everything I owned was gone.
In an effort to prevent looting, a curfew will be in effect this evening in areas affected by the Palisades and Eaton fires.
You cannot be in these affected areas. If you are subject to arrest.
National Guard troops are patrolling the mandatory evacuation zone here in Altadena, where the Eaton fire has reduced home after home to rubble. This is what so many people here in hard-hit Altadena, unfortunately, are going to be coming home to. People who we spoke to who've been trying to get back to their homes say they are now frustrated that looting is a problem.
It's mind-boggling because I can't get in, but then looters could get in.
David Resendez says he can't believe someone would stoop so low.
I would guarantee they're not from here because this community, Altadena, is a tight-knit community.
At the White House, President Biden received a briefing on the wildfire emergency response, a day after promising the federal government will cover firefighting costs for the next 6 months.
We've got to be prepared to pay for it. And when we do, we got to build back better than we did before.
And as crews attack the wildfires from the sky, officials are warning people not to fly drones. That's after one nicked the wing of a super scooper, grounding it Thursday.
Flying a drone in the fire traffic area is not only dangerous, but it's illegal.
LA County's fire chief saying the plane should be flying again by Monday, just in time for the next expected red flag event. Charlie DeMar, CBS News, Altadena, California.
And stay with CBS News Miami as we continue to monitor the situation in California. We'll have the latest on air and online. An investigation is now underway after an emergency evacuation out of Miami International Airport. Passengers on board an Eastern Airlines flight were forced to evacuate down slides this morning. The crew reported an electrical smell in the cockpit. We're told this flight was set to depart to Cuba. All passengers were evacuated and Miami-Dade Fire Rescue investigated, but no signs of a fire were found. No injuries were reported.
Always alerting, always tracking. This is Next Weather.
Taking a live look right now at the Guitar Hotel. Looks a little cloudy out there kind of today. I'm not sure. It looks kind of weird in that shot. The chilly weather is going to stick around for the weekend, but just how low will the temps go? When I looked outside, it looked clear and beautiful, so that shot threw me off a bit, Shane.
No, we are seeing some of those clouds kind of building into the area, and in fact, it's going to get even cloudier ahead of our next cold front that's going to be moving through tomorrow. We are going to be warming up for the weekend, but don't be fooled. We do have another cool down on the way. In fact, we're tracking 2 cold fronts for you in your extended forecast. So let's go ahead and dive into it. We're going to start with what you can expect for the rest of the day into the evening. Lower 70s, what we're tracking right now. It's actually a fabulous Friday for us. As we head throughout the next several hours, if you have any evening plans, you're going to be good to go. Temperatures in the 60s. They're not really dropping off that much overnight. Now, as we take a look across the southeast, you can see we just have a wintry mess with this winter storm that's going to be pushing to the northeast over the next couple of days. As that area of low pressure moves up to the northeast, it's going to drag a cold front into Florida. Now, this one is not going to pack too much of a punch in regard to temperature-wise, but it will bring us our next best chance for some showers. Not going to be a washout for you, but I do have some isolated rain chances, most notably on Saturday. So let's go ahead and time those out for you. This is a snapshot of 9 o'clock Saturday morning. We have maybe a few clouds out there, but overall pretty dry. We have that wind coming in from the southwest, so it is going to be a warmer start for us. As that cold front approaches, this is around 11 o'clock where we could start to see those isolated showers pop up in Broward and then northwestern Miami-Dade County. It'll quickly push through the area. This is just after lunchtime on Saturday. We're still dealing with mostly cloudy skies, but then that drier air filters in behind the front, and that's going to leave us with a cooler and also quieter back half to your weekend. So that's some good news here. As we wake up tomorrow morning, we're actually going to be in the lower to mid 60s, maybe even upper 60s for some spots in the Keys. So this is definitely going to be a warmer start to the day than we have been dealing with the past couple of days. As we take a look at your hourly forecast, your rain concerns are really going to be late morning into early afternoon hours. After that, I think you're going to be good to go. So it's not going to be a washout for the weekend. You've got overall pretty good conditions with temperatures peaking around 80 degrees. I've got mid 70s to lower 80s across all of South Florida. Maybe a bit milder for some parts in the Keys, but I think the most of us are going to be pretty nice and good to go. Rip current risk going to be high tomorrow, and I do want to point out that the water temperatures have actually dropped to the upper 60s for the first time this season. As we take a look at the weekend forecast, you'll notice that behind the front we drop down to the mid 70s, so a bit mild for the end of the weekend, but technically seasonable for this time of the year. Your 7-day forecast shows that we'll warm up to around 80 degrees again on Monday, but then another cold front, our second one, slides through on Tuesday, bringing another isolated shower chance, and it drops us back down into the 60s for our afternoon highs for the back half of next week. Lauren.
Shane, thank you. Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro was sworn in for a third 6-year term, despite credible evidence of an election loss. Today, the Biden administration increased a reward to capture Maduro to $25 million. Venezuelan Americans here in South Florida are rallying against him. CBS News Miami's Yvonne Taylor has the story.
A sense of frustration prevails today among Venezuelans living in South Florida, in spite of the fact that Washington also extended TPS for 18 months for many of them. So this is what happened today. Nicolás Maduro was sworn in for a third presidential term despite the protests of the country's opposition movement on Thursday. Dictators from Cuba and Nicaragua attended the swearing ceremony. For 5 months, though, Venezuela's opposition has been publishing thousands of voting tallies claiming that their candidate, Edmundo González, had actually won the vote with 67% against Maduro's 30%. The presidential election was held on July 28th. On Thursday, Venezuelans responded to Maria Corina Machado, opposition leader in hiding for over 130 days in Venezuela. She asked them to come out in peaceful protest against Maduro's will to be sworn in. Machado was kidnapped by Maduro's military forces and then released. Today, the Biden administration announced they are increasing the reward to capture Nicolás Maduro to $25 million. It used to be 15. Some Venezuelans want more than that.
It's the first time, okay, that I hear in the world history when where one president lost the election and kept the power. That is unacceptable.
So coming up at 5 p.m., Venezuelans will attend another peaceful protest today at a park in Doral, and of course, we will be there. We are in the city of Doral. Yvonne Taylor, CBS News, Miami.
A judge in New York sentenced President-elect Donald Trump in his hush money case, but did not impose any punishment. The president-elect appeared in court by Zoom this morning. CBS News Miami's Bradley Blackburn has the latest.
In a historic courtroom moment, President-elect Donald Trump appeared virtually before a New York judge to be sentenced as a convicted felon.
Never before has this court been presented with such a unique and remarkable set of circumstances.
In the brief proceeding, Judge Juan Merchan gave Trump an unconditional discharge. Trump will have a criminal record, but will not face prison time or probation. The president-elect, who was with his attorney at his Mar-a-Lago home, listened via video link. Before the judge announced his decision, Trump spoke to the court.
But the fact is that I'm totally innocent. I did nothing wrong.
Trump had faced up to 4 years in prison for the conviction, but prosecutors agreed to the unconditional discharge after Trump's presidential win. The sentence comes little more than a week before his inauguration.
This is the proverbial slap on the wrist. It is symbolic. It is an acknowledgement that there was a conviction, and it is essentially no more.
A Manhattan jury convicted Trump in May 2024 on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. Prosecutors said he had attempted to cover up a $130,000 hush money payment to adult film star Stormy Daniels ahead of the 2016 election. Trump and his attorneys have vowed to appeal, a process that could play out while he is in the White House. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
The fate of TikTok is in the hands of the Supreme Court. Find out how the justices are leaning after today's hearing when we come back. Welcome back to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. A car pulled out of a canal after a deadly plunge overnight in southwest Miami-Dade. Police say the man inside died. CBS News Miami's Peter Dench tells us what happened.
It happened right here at the Towns and Grand Lakes Estates, and we have new surveillance tape from a neighbor. Let's take a look. There were some very dramatic images after a Nissan SUV crashed through a barrier and into a canal here at 4200 Southwest 166th Court. You see the vehicle disappear into the water. It happened just after 2:30 this morning. Miami-Dade Fire Rescue responded. The man in the car was transported to HCA Florida Kendall Hospital but did not survive. We spoke with a neighbor.
I became aware of this when my dog started barking. I heard people talking and I heard noises. I peeked through the window. I saw 5 cop cars, fire rescue, and an ambulance. Then I peeked through the other window and I saw a car that was submerged. I noticed a cop had gone into the water and realized they took somebody out of the car. This has happened many times before, but never a fatality. They were able to save themselves. This is terrible because they do not put any signs out there and there are no lights out there. The only thing they have is the guardrail. There is no indication that there is a canal here. Even in the daytime, I hear people slamming on their brakes.
Miami-Dade police are investigating. So far, the man who lost his life has not been identified. We'll have much more on this story coming up in just an hour. In southwest Miami-Dade, Peter Dench, CBS News, Miami.
The Supreme Court seems likely to uphold a new law that could force TikTok to shut down in the U.S. TikTok could be shut out of the United States app stores as soon as January 19th without intervention by the court. The 9 justices heard oral arguments from lawyers for TikTok, some of its users, and the Biden administration. A preliminary decision will likely come in just days. The law, which Congress passed last year, gave TikTok 9 months to separate from its China-based ByteDance or face a ban. Government officials have warned that TikTok poses a national security risk because ByteDance is headquartered in China. This weekend, expect road closures for the annual Three Kings Parade in Little Havana. Officials say they're working to make sure everyone has fun and stays safe.
The national events have raised concerns about the safety and security of all large-scale events and celebrations. So I want to let you know that the city of Miami stands ready to keep our community safe. We have a comprehensive plan, not only that we have improved from years past when we used to hold this event before, but that we've kind of sat down and retweaked. So in addition to all the officers that you're going to see in uniform throughout the event, we're gonna have some undercover elements in there just looking for any type of bad actors that are looking to harm our community.
The parade is set to kick off on Sunday at noon. It's scheduled to start on Southwest 8th Street from Southwest 27th Avenue through 17th Avenue. And that's CBS News Miami's Quickcast. I'm Lauren Pastrana. Stay tuned for more news right here on CBS Miami.